Episode 40, 34, 35?
I actually don't know.
It's 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
COUGHLIN Winters here. We're going to have a little chat about some archaeology shiz in a bit.
Some archaeology, some conspiracy theories.
Ooh,
Yes.
love all that.
I'm going to debunk you. No, I'm a joke.
I debunk myself all the time. I go, hey, have you heard about this? And I look it up and go, oh, actually, no, it wasn't true.
We need to say thanks to Patreons again, because we can cover our studio costs now because of you guys, which is amazing. And just to say thanks, we're going to be doing a whole new extra episode filmed at home, so it won't be this quality.
No.
But it'll be us proper chonged on the sofa.
Proper whiffed.
So, it's the good.
Yeah. So if you sign up to the Patreon, you'll be getting 2 extra episodes a week, which is sick, that, isn't it?
Pretty good,
to be honest.
Yeah. And because it's at home as well, it'll be well more intimate on it.
Yeah. Like the old days, like going back to the old,
like the
in the beginnings, just me and Amy. Because every episode now we've got guests on, so we don't have any where it's just me and Amy as much anymore. So we're going to try and go back to that and to see how that is. Just trying to think of extra stuff for our patrons, you know what I mean?
That's a lot, that 2 extra episodes.
Yeah, but we live together, so...
That's true, it's not even that much.
It's easy, we just turn the camera
it.
and chat shit.
We might even start doing Twitch, and it'll be hilarious, like, because me playing PlayStation, because I'm so shit. And, like, I'm very reactive and everything makes me jump, so that might be good to watch.
So we're going to try and set up a Twitch. And
play Resident Evil or something.
Oh.
That was it, play Resident Evil, man. Just turn all the lights off and get real scared.
I already regret my decision. Right, we've got sent some edibles from Grim Reaper Edibles. Check her out on Instagram if you like the weed. If you don't, then don't bother. But she's amazing. She does make like vegan stuff as well. And Furry Weed Mother, that's another one.
That's like her partner, isn't it?
But the sent us a free chocolate covered drugs in the post, and that is
Are we allowed to say this though?
Package.
I was just thinking, can you like
I don't know if we're allowed to say this.
Right, so she has these nice brownies, right, that don't have weed in them.
Yeah.
The CBD was.
She made some for these two that were like with weed, but that was just a friend thing.
Yeah.
But you can order brownies that don't have weed.
Just CBD.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. And they're so good.
Yeah.
They're amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, they're lovely. So good.
Proper chill.
We're planning on doing something with her for Patreon as well.
Yeah,
like we're
like
gonna
a cook-off.
Cook some stuff and interview.
Bake and baked.
Don't know what we're going to do. But we're going to do something twice baked, yeah.
Wow.
With her in November sometime, so keep an eye out for that.
Also, we've had some fan art of Jessica Barker. Thank you so much. It was amazing. We love you. Thanks.
Yeah, if anyone else wants to do any fan art as well, let us know.
Yeah.
The Mild High Club UK
at gmail.com.
Yeah. And
my last little thing is, so I've been contacted by a foot fetish guy. £50 for a picture of my feet if you want one. It's
easiest money ever.
Easiest money I've ever made.
I know.
Shout out to you. You know who you are, but I keep you anonymous because I'm like,
you little bitch.
Yeah, he likes that. Yeah, he likes it. You're fucking not bad.
He'll love this. I don't know who he is, but he'll love this.
Should be charging for this. Save this as Patreon content.
It's weird because obviously he knows who I am, but I don't know who he is. So like, I mean, it could be you. You just don't. It could be you.
Maybe
like, but you know, do you know like if he ever come to the gig or whatever on a Monday?
Yeah.
Like he'd know who I was, but he'd
know
who my
who
feet.
He was.
He'd know
He's
what my feet look like. Yeah. Just look at my feet.
Just don't wear flip flops.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so
anyone else
I just
wants to jump on that?
Let you know there is feet pics available.
Shout out, foot guy.
Yeah,
feet pics available. Drop us a message.
£50 a pop.
And if anyone wants to buy pictures of mine as well, I'm open for that as well.
Yeah,
Me too as well.
Anyone,
available.
Get on COUGHLIN, he'll sell you pictures of his feet as well. We're all skint looking to hustle.
Yeah. And like other weird stuff, but not, as long as it's not the Holy Trinity,
What's the Holy Trinity?
Tits, fanny, ass.
Oh, okay.
Then, like...
That's it. That's how they do it. Tits, fanny, ass.
Yeah, like maybe you're like, I don't know. Like people sitting on beans and that, don't they? And
Sitting on beans.
Yeah, like sploshing.
Oh, sploshing's
splosh
a thing,
community.
yeah.
I don't know that.
So they get in the bath and just be like, oh,
All I have to do is just film you cooking. That'd be sploshing videos.
Yeah. And make a bit of a mess.
Is that like a thing?
Yeah, fetish, yeah.
Like a common, like...
I don't know how common it is, but
category.
It's a thing.
It's a thing, yeah.
People like you, like, I don't know, sitting on cake and that. Do you know what I mean? You can buy me socks as well if you want.
No props.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Open for business is pretty much what Amy's saying. That guy on Twitter who was asking if Amy's OnlyFans was still up. It's not, but it's something similar.
But if you like feet,
get in touch.
Feet and cake.
Get on us. I'm available for the feet, but not the beans.
Yeah,
that's the beans.
Too much effort. That.
Where'd you draw the line?
Beans.
Yeah,
Savoury.
Yeah.
Sweet's a bit different, innit?
I like eat a cake without
sexually,
a top on.
Without your top on.
Yeah. But I'm not getting in a bath of beans.
No, only if I'm setting a world record. I'm not doing it for fun.
I mean, it depends. There is a price, though. Obviously, like.
Well, that's it. So
there is a price where I would get in a bath of beans. So if you want to put an offer in,
name your price. Yeah, that's it. Send us an invoice.
The same guy has also asked me for a video of me being mean to him. So if a video gets leaked of me being a knobhead, it was all acting, wasn't?
And it was all for that sweet dollar, because Amy needs to buy some socks.
Yeah, all my socks have got holes in them.
So if you want to buy them,
yeah,
get in touch. Weird start.
Yeah. So here we are.
So we when you messaged me the other day, you mentioned about did you say you wrote a paper on
Yeah, you can read it on academia.edu.
Ew.
You just upload it.
Oh, right,
okay. I might upload one.
Yeah, I might upload one.
Mushrooms are dead.
I think you need to be like associated with a university or something, which you are.
Which I am.
There you go. Get on
it.
So what was the paper about?
So basically, it was about the Mayans doing hallucinogenic drugs.
Yeah.
So I started by talking about mushrooms, which they definitely did. Psilocybin and probably Amanita muscaria. Have you heard? That's the one with the red one with the white dots.
Father Christmas.
We love mushrooms.
Yeah, so you can't say definitely, but almost like definitely. We find all these weird like statues with like mushrooms, and it looks like they're in a trance.
Isn't there loads of like people holding bags that they found in like Egypt and in the Mayans and all that? So
it's
like
all
carvings.
It's all over the world. I mentioned Egypt a bit in it. So they have these like white lilies, I think they're called. I can't remember the technical name now because it's a while ago. They're like these flowers that are like hallucinogenic as well.
Blue lotus is
I think it was lotus. Yeah. And there's like pictures of like jaguars with like lotuses like growing out of the head and like there's this one pot that I was like looking at where it was basically like what was it? It was a guy with a flower growing out of his head and a monkey like blowing something up his arse.
So they might have used like suppository them.
So basically like
supposited them. I don't know what I say.
So I did a couple of so definitely think that they had mushrooms, but I think they had DMT as well.
Right.
But there's two types of toads in the area that you can get DMT from.
Right.
And one of them you can like dry it up on glass, you can scrape it and then you smoke it and it makes you high. But the other one type of toad, and it looks exactly the same. One's called Bufo alvarius, one's called Bufo marinus, but they look the same.
Right.
But the other one, if you do it, you just have a heart attack straight away and drop dead.
Oh, brilliant.
So you've got to like,
very careful with them ones.
So some guy tried to like do like a paper, like some academic, and he went there and he got the wrong toad.
No.
But he did like a dose of it. But he didn't die, but he was like, oh, I'm having like hallucinogenics. And then they were like, nah, mate, you just poisoned yourself.
So that's it, innit? Because like what I've heard from DMT is like sometimes you feel like you're dying. It's like meeting God and all that.
Yeah.
So if you took the wrong one, you'd be like, this is it.
Yeah, so he thought
it actually is it, yeah.
Actual death.
But of course they would do like hallucinogenics and stuff. Why would they not? Like, why would you,
especially when there's no laws against doing them as well.
Yeah.
Like,
and they've got so much of it. Like there's so many mushrooms around there.
Yeah.
Like you'd eat it, even if you weren't trying to, you'd eat it just trying to eat some mushrooms.
Just for
and then
food.
they'd work out. And then it'd work out like what happened Like obviously that made them like that, and then they just keep doing it.
Yeah.
That was the original like Netflix and chill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just take mushrooms and look at the stars and that.
Yeah, and they always make it out like it's like this thing like it's ritual, but that's basic. So like anytime you hear ritual in the news, and that basically means that the archaeologists didn't know what it was.
Right. Okay.
So we just say like, oh, it was a ritual.
That was a ritual. That
it's a ritual. That
that's funny.
You just make like it's just like don't know.
Rituals and whatever.
But obviously, like the thing with that though is like if it's like a religious thing, they draw pictures of it and all that.
Yeah.
But if they're just doing it casually, they're not really like keeping a record.
Yeah.
But obviously they are doing it casually as well.
If alcohol was so widely used, I don't see why mushrooms wouldn't be. Little mushroom brew or whatever.
Well, that was it with the Blue Lotus one you found. They'd done they mix it with alcohol and just have parties on that. But even like in China and all that, the opium dens and all stuff, they're all doing shit back then, man, weren't they?
Yeah. Blue Lotus induces lucid dreaming, and it is a legal high in the UK. If you want to get on it, you can buy it off Etsy.
And also watch episode 1 of the Mild High Club, because that was our first episode on it.
It was by Blue Lotus.
We bought some and tried it on our first episode to see what it was like.
It's a nice mellow high.
Yeah.
And it tastes really nice when you smoke, because we put it in the herb vape. And it tastes like sweet, like biscuits or something. It's dead nice.
Is it like, have you done truffles?
In Amsterdam,
Yeah, is it like that? Where it's like, you don't like hallucinate, but it's kind of like...
No, not as strong as truffles.
Right.
It's like a real mellow, like weed high. Do you know what I mean?
But I wonder, like, if you had loads of it, though, it might be...
Oh, probably, yeah.
But we only had a little bit.
I think it maybe if you smoked like a full joint of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Or something, or like you say, made a big
brew.
tea out of it, or with wine. I think that's how they used to do it in Egypt, put it in a wine. Mixing it with the alcohol is probably what gets you real messed up, innit? Like, but
it is good.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to do the illegal stuff, then it's a good alternative.
Yeah.
Nice
so
chill.
with the Mayans and that, like, I've always thought, because obviously a lot of people have used mushrooms and hallucinogenics through history. Like, I feel like the Bible's based on hallucinogenics a lot.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, because like the whole like burning bush thing was like an acacia tree on it, and you can get DMT from that.
Yeah, the weird thing about that though is like so usually Christians who like shut it down. That'd be ironic if it was.
Yeah, well, like
because like in with the Mayans, like they had whole like libraries of books and all that.
Yeah,
and there's only like 3 or 4 left because when the Spanish conquistadors got there, they were like, oh, these are like devil worshippers, and they just burnt all the books and like started like torturing them, and like if they thought anyone was doing like the old religion or doing like hallucinogenics or anything, they just like
Christianity is the worst.
That's wounding, that.
But even with that, like I heard the whole like the parables was all based on like using hallucinogenics and that, but the reason he wrote it was to hide it from the Romans.
All that they're doing it.
Yeah, like the knowledge of the mushrooms or whatever they were doing. They wrote it into parables like the burning bush and that.
Yeah.
Because like if say for example, who was it that found the burning bush? Moses or something?
Yeah.
If he'd smoked DMT and spoke to God, then to turn that into a parable and be like he's seen a burning bush.
That's mad. Imagine if that was like the beginning of.
This is what I mean.
Honestly, it probably is.
Could be.
And like Jesus being like performing all these miracles and that, like could have just been something to do with mushrooms.
Well, like Muhammad, the story of Muhammad is that he went to a cave on his own and met the angel Gabriel in the cave, and then Gabriel told him all the shit. Yeah. And then he just came back, and that was like the beginning of Islam. Yeah. And it's like
psychedelics, man.
I'm not saying Muhammad was on drugs before anyone like tries to like kill me or whatever.
Yeah, no, neither way.
Jesus, defo Muhammad. He was like.
But yeah, so like that's what I heard, like the Bible, and that was written to keep secrets from like stop the Romans from finding out and stuff like that. And then even Christmas and that, them Amanita Muscarias is like the whole story of Christmas is based around them.
Well, Christmas is. I'm sure you know Christmas is a pagan festival, isn't it? Yeah, and they were defo doing drugs.
Yeah, exactly. So like the whole like the red hat and the beard, the frills from underneath, that's meant to be Santa. Yeah, they grow under pine trees and
reindeers love him, so they have the red nose type thing. And people,
and if you're on them, you see fucking flying reindeers.
And you see it
like
in the Mayan books that we call them codices.
Right.
They have like Amanita muscaria, and they're like giving it to people, and then there's like images of them like falling through space.
Yeah,
stuff like that, like weird.
It's so mad, isn't it?
But it is mad because obviously these drugs, like when people do them now, and they come out all spiritual because they feel like they've connected to God or a higher power. It's very similar in it to how these religions come about.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a shame if that is where these religions started, and now we're like forbidden from enjoying. It makes you
when you look into it, it makes you realize like how much of our thinking is just made by like the Abrahamic religions.
Yeah.
Because like we don't, even if you're not religious, like even the idea that like drugs are a bad thing is it's from like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and like we have that. Even if you like you could be like completely atheist, like think religion's stupid, but people still have it in their head.
Yeah, it
mad,
is.
Isn't it?
It's a shame, and I really hope we can move away from that way of thinking.
And keep like cracking that bad.
But but the thing is, like, when it's man-made and like produced and loads of shit's done to it and you don't know what's in it, then that's where the dangers come in it.
It's true that though.
Yeah.
There's very few like natural drugs that are
that's what I mean. When it's an earth-grown substance and you literally just pick it out the ground, no one's fucked with it or anything like that.
And unless you get the wrong DMT and just have a heart attack.
Yeah, that's off a toad, isn't it?
That's why it would be helpful to legalise it though, so that it can be regulated properly.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think like if everyone started doing psychedelics and that, like societies are just collapse because loads of people would just be like, what are we doing? Why are we living like this?
I think that's kind of what's happening now. I think we're moving through a big shift.
It's mad how many people are just like doing DMT and that now. It's like it's coming full. You know the way like everyone sort of comes round. Like it's like we're going back into that whole era of loads of people doing psychedelics and that.
Yeah.
You got people on Instagram like throwing out like, oh, sell DMT vapes and microdose LSD and mushrooms and all that. Buy them on Instagram and you see everyone talking about it and that. It was like first time I ever heard it was on a podcast. And it was like, you had to go do like ayahuasca and shit like that, proper ceremonies. Now you can just buy it from some John in town.
When I first heard about it, it was like this mad thing that you wouldn't even, you was like, oh, imagine doing that.
And now everyone knows about it.
You could do it.
Yeah, it's so weird. So I feel like
it's like veganism.
It's coming round
so
again.
Easy to do now.
Yeah.
And
it's all got me, like you were saying, like, I can't remember the name, but she's doing like vegan, like weed brownie.
Yeah.
Like, they're amazing. Like, they're so fancy. That's why I shared them because I was like, because I hate there's this like stigma with drugs and stuff, and she's made these and they're really high quality and they're nicely decorated.
Yeah,
I just wanted to show that like stoners aren't fucking lazy like knobheads like everyone thinks they are. They're creative and we have got good work ethic actually.
Never stopping.
Yeah. So when I smoked weed when I was like a teenager, it was like seedy.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was seedy.
Still
but
is,
it was
like,
to, like people.
The way you've got to buy most of the time, you've got to like get in touch with some dodgy people, get in cars and people you don't know and shit like that. Like it just makes you feel like you're doing something real bad.
And
like
I might say the ice cream man used to sell it.
Yeah.
Can that's not a standard.
What was I gonna say?
Have you ever done psychedelics or anything?
Just truffles. In Amsterdam.
How were they?
Which was it was a weird one, man, because it was like, because I was there doing Thai boxing or kickboxing.
Okay.
So Amsterdam's like a centre for like
kickboxing.
And so it was like 12 of us, like all like competitive like Thai boxers.
Yeah.
And we all just did truffles at like 12 in the afternoon. We were just in Amsterdam Park, just fucking tripping.
Yeah. It was strong worthy.
But yeah. They weren't. I didn't like hallucinate.
Right.
I don't know if you do hallucinate if you take loads, but I didn't.
Because there's different strength ones as well, isn't it? It's not just like, say if you went and got Liberty Caps, they're just a matter of how many you eat is how strong it is. Whereas with them truffles, you can get like mild ones or like.
I think I did like a small because I was a shitbag.
Yeah.
But I didn't hallucinate, but it was. It's hard. I mean, I'm sure you guys know, but just like my perception changed of everything.
Yeah.
And like I was seeing everything differently.
Yeah.
And just like little things, you're just like, I was just like, oh, that's not what it was.
Yeah. Did it make you feel weird?
Eye-opening.
It was the same thing, but it wasn't the
Yeah.
same
Did you go
thing.
over there to compete or just to train?
Just we're training at a gym called Mike's Gym,
right.
which anyone who knows like UFC well and like kickboxing will know. It's like where like guys like Badr Hari and like Gokhan Saki and people like that come from. Alistair Overeem was training there. So we just went there to train for like a month.
Right, because I was going to say, if you were going over fighting, that might have changed your perspective on fighting, mightn't it?
I wouldn't have done it before a fight.
Yeah, it would have
because
been
I
weird.
would have just been like,
let's hug.
Yeah, and also I would have been like scared and shit.
Yeah, full of anxiety.
With fighting, you have to like, I think, I mean, I didn't fight like high level, but like I fought like competitively and that, but I think you have to like kind of close your mind a bit.
Oh yeah,
and like just be like, you have to like forget consequences, because if you start opening your mind and thinking about everything that could happen, you just won't do it. You just go
right,
because you're like, oh, you could just like punch me in the head and I could just die.
Yeah, you don't want that in a fight, do you?
I just, do you know, if it was like more acceptable and like everyone had just had a go, like at least once. Imagine like all the Karens. If it you just get rid of that thing, and all the like racists, like
all the politicians should do it.
All politicians.
Imagine how much better it'd be to work in like low end jobs, like service and that.
Yeah.
You know, where people are just
you probably get paid the most.
Yeah.
Like if everyone done mushrooms and then they went, you know what,
that's the shittest job.
These are working dead hard.
Or even just like if you're like 5 minutes late and they're just like whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Time doesn't exist.
It's fine.
It's a man-made construct.
We made time, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I reckon like, you know, to get into like being a prime minister or being the president on your first day, you should have to take like 5 grams of mushrooms or something.
Because that's how we know.
And then they go, right now we'll make some bills. Like, cause
that's how we'll
some
know
laws
your
have changed
priorities
fast.
are in the right place.
Yeah.
It's the world I want to live in.
Yeah.
Be amazing.
So seeing today about them finding a 400-year-old sword in the sea.
Yeah, in the sea.
Yeah. They say from the Crusaders.
I haven't really looked at it, but I think I saw like they said it was like from the Crusades.
Yeah.
So it'd be like the late, probably older than 400 years.
Right. Okay.
So like the late.
What was
Crusades.
the Crusades?
So the Crusades is when basically like all the Christians in Europe were like, we need to go and like take the Holy Land off the Muslims.
Right. Okay.
So they went through like Jerusalem.
Okay.
So it was different. There's different ones. It started with the peasant. They call it the Peasants' Crusade.
Yeah.
Which was so the church first of all started saying like, we need to take the Holy Land. And then first of all, a bunch of like peasants got together and were like, we're gonna go and do it, which is mad.
Yeah.
Because you're not. So like they started going to the Holy Land. They got to Turkey. And then like a group called the Seljuk Turks, who were like a proper army, and that were just like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, just off them.
Just like, killed them all.
Oh dear.
Unlucky.
So they were like, yeah, your pitchforks ain't going to work against a fucking like actual.
Oh, what a nightmare.
Because this is when like.
To Turkey, innit?
So this is like what they call the Islamic Golden Age. So
right.
like the Islamic world is like the most advanced in the world at this time.
That's where a lot of like books and knowledge and stuff come from originally.
So most of the ancient Greek stuff we only have it because it was translated in the Islamic in the Islamic world. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Aristotle.
Yeah, right.
For example.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It's mad that, and you just people don't know about that. Cause it's like they try and like, don't listen to them.
Tell us all the things.
Whitewashing it.
That was the Peasants' Crusade, and then later on you get more where like the knights and all that, like the proper like guy. I think the most famous probably Richard Lionheart.
Right. Okay.
He's a king, obviously, and he has like this war with Saladin, and then they kind of become friends.
Right.
And then Richard Lionheart's like, do you want to marry my sister?
It's just mad, isn't it? This
is what the ancient world is like, though. They'll be like, we're having a war, and then they'll be like, do you know what, actually, like, let's be mates, do you want to marry my sister?
Yeah, you're right, you want to marry my sister? We'll go to war together.
But like 200,000 people have died fighting because you had a beef. You're just like, let's chill.
So mad, isn't it?
But but he can't marry her because he won't convert to Christianity and that. But so that's the Crusades is basically like European knights and like stuff going over and trying to take. So I'm guessing this sword is the saying it's like belongs to one of them.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? It's like dead well preserved as well because it's been in the sea. I can't wait to see if because obviously they'll take all the whatever's on it, like shells and stuff off of it, won't they, to try and see exactly what it's like. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see like how well preserved it is.
Yeah, it's mad every time I find stuff like that. I'm just
tell us the most interesting thing you found in your digs and
so my thing that I find the most interesting, I mentioned it when I was chatting to you on the last time we did a podcast, and it was a hand axe from Africa. Oh. So it's like a stone axe that they hold in the hand. Yeah. And they like break stuff with it. And I found the stone that they used to make the axe. Oh. But that's the most interesting because it's 2.5 million years old.
That's my God.
So like the people who made it weren't even humans. Wow. They were like, they're our ancestors, but they weren't humans. They were like a different species before we evolved into humans.
That's insane. That.
And like just like when you hold it and you're just like, this is like someone made this 2.5 million years ago, and they weren't
jobs and
they weren't even humans. And the one that I've got, they didn't finish it.
Really? Yeah.
So they started making it and then they didn't finish it. So I'm like, what happened? Like, why did they finish it? What happened?
Yeah, there's some mad story behind that, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, you never know.
So do you know what was going on like 2 million years ago?
Yeah. Well, they were basically just like apes. Right. Like intelligent apes, basically.
Yeah,
that's like us, but like less advanced, basically. Yeah. They were in like, you could call them tribes or like whatever you'd call them, like packs or whatever.
What area did you find it in?
Uganda, East Africa.
Right. Okay.
So there's an area in East Africa called the Rift Valley, and that's where we find a lot in Kenya, where we find a lot of like the early human evolution.
When was
stuff.
Was that before? Or like, would that have been after everything sort of started separating, like land
before?
Wise?
So the thing with like that long ago is like you can't even say like exactly what happened. It's a lot of theories and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean they're just finding that thing you were saying near London Bridge, a rolling summit.
Yeah, so like, that changes like what we think of like what London was even.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah,
like.
So the most popular theory now, I think, this human evolution stuff changes all the time because you find new stuff.
Keep finding older and older stuff,
so
don't you?
Always changes. Like whatever we think now, almost definitely isn't like the picture. Yeah. Like, it's probably not going to change and be like, oh, that's all wrong, but it will change and be like, oh, actually that bit is different there and stuff.
Isn't
like
there quite a bit of pushback on some stuff because like obviously people have published papers and stuff and got like made money off of things, and then they found out that's a bit wrong or like been like debunked or whatever, and then they try and like push back against it, being like, no, that's all blag.
That's how it works. That's how like academia works. Always like you publish a paper, and then people write like counters to it.
Right. Okay.
Like that's standard procedure. You publish a paper, and then someone else publishes a thing saying like that's all bullshit.
Right.
And then you have to be like, nah, it's not bullshit because this is in it. Yeah.
What do you think of like Graham Hancock and that?
I think he's like he's kind of weird because like it's quite good because he like brought like some like really cool stuff into like public like knowledge, like Göbekli Tepe and stuff. Like people wouldn't know about that. Yeah. And it is really cool. But then personally, I think he just takes it a bit too far.
Yeah, because it's all just theories, though. Isn't it? Like,
but like that's fine. Like if he says, as long as he's not saying like, "Oh, this is the truth." Yeah, which I don't know if he does. I don't think he says like this.
He just sort of says like, "Oh, this evidence points to this happening."
Yeah, which is he can do nothing wrong with that, is there?
But like you say, like
some people get really upset with him because like a lot of his stuff is just like that's mad that, but like so what? Do you know what I mean? Like personally, I'm sorry.
The main stuff I heard about it was it's more about do you know like the stuff in Egypt, like the Sphinx and stuff, saying that might be older than they think because there's like rain weathering on it but it hasn't rained in that area for like thousands of years before they're saying it was built. So they're like, we reckon that's older, and you know, all just stuff like that.
The thing with that though is like I don't know the details and the science of that, but like I don't know why that would be like controversial to think that. Do you know what I mean? Like
because what he says is like it rewrites so much history to think that the Egyptians built it when really it might have been there before then.
Yeah. And it still would have been. It just would have been an earlier version of them.
Yeah, but we don't know who it is or what like. Because there's that whole thing about no one really knows about the pyramids and that. So I think it all just ties together in the fact of like an ancient civilization that predates and then was wiped out by some sort of cataclysmic event.
I mean, my idea of Graham Hancock is, I think he goes a bit too far, but he has a point in that a lot of the time archaeologists, not all, but like a lot of them do make it seem like we know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't do that, because we obviously don't, because we're always finding new stuff that changes.
Well, every tweet Graham Hancock puts out is just like, stuff just keeps getting older. And it's just like, it's just
if you were a good
good
archaeologist, you wouldn't like get mad. Yeah, like changing.
You'd want to find out more, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you want to change stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. If someone's made a living,
isn't it, attached to a certain belief.
If someone's made a living off of a certain theory and then all this stuff debunks that.
Yeah. And obviously, I know a lot who aren't like that, but there are a lot like that as well. Who like want to know everything, and they want to be like the curators of like information of like I know, and like I have to tell you, and you can't. Like, you're not allowed to work it out because you haven't got like the qualifications that I've got.
Right.
But, like, and if only they'd have some DMT.
But there's no reason like we can't talk about something and then you come up with an idea and I'm like, oh yeah,
why not?
Like, why not?
It happens with everything, doesn't it? Like, you could be stuck trying to think of something, and someone goes, why didn't you just think about that? And you go, oh fucking hell,
It's like comedy. Like you get sometimes you get tags off people who aren't comedians.
Yeah. And you just go, oh,
they have a good idea.
But so like, do you think about anything about like
I want to know where you've digged.
Like, where I've digged.
Dug.
Oh yeah. So at the moment I just dig in London because I'm working for the Museum of London.
Yeah.
So what happened with that then? You're digging. Someone found a.
Yeah, so I can talk about. I wasn't allowed to talk about it before, but now they've done like a press release.
Exclusive.
The goss.
Yeah, they've done a press release now, so they've put the information out there.
Right,
so like, still some stuff I probably can't talk about, but I can talk about what they've
about what you
released.
Spill the tea.
So basically, we found like a big, massive Roman building on the south bank of the Thames.
Yeah,
which is so most of Rome. What we think of the Roman city of London is on the north bank.
Right.
So this is like, what is this building? Like, it's massive. Like it's massive, and it's like technically outside the city.
Yeah.
And it's found like mosaic floors. We found like loads of jewelry. We found all this like loads of pot. We found a dick necklace.
Really? Yeah. Like a fertility necklace.
Nah, so it's soldiers.
Right.
Soldiers wore dick necklaces. Like it'd be like a pendant. I'll show you a picture. I've got a picture on my phone. It's like a pendant in the shape of a dick.
Yeah.
And like balls, and they just wear it to be like.
Nah, this
got a big dick. I'm a soldier and I got a big dick.
Come at me. Yeah.
Like so much of like ancient like stuff is just dicks.
Yeah. So that just shows you like how much other stuff there could be in London. Like
like everywhere you dig down in London, you'll find. They only found the amphitheatre in the 80s.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane, isn't it?
Like you just find it everywhere. But this.
So do you not know what it is? The building.
We thought it might be a mansio, which is like a really fancy like hotel kind of thing.
Right.
Ooh.
But not really. We know it's something like really important and fancy because of the level of stuff we're getting out of there is like high level, like high status.
Yeah,
jewelry. Like, you don't put mosaic floors in like normal buildings and stuff.
And with it being like on the Thames, you think like that location lends itself
it's right
to
next
like
to London Bridge.
Yeah.
And where London Bridge is now is basically where the Roman Bridge was as well.
Right, yeah.
So it's right at the entrance to the city.
It is something important.
And it's early as well. But there's different phases. So it goes from about when they first arrive, they arrive in the year 43.
Right.
And then they leave in the 300s. And it goes all the way through. So there's different like layers of buildings. It's just like, yeah.
What happens with that building now then? Are they going to like leave it and open it up for like an exhibit or?
No, we take out the stuff that we're keeping and then the rest just gets destroyed.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, right, this is going to sound stupid, but so since Roman times to now, people just walking past that building, and is it just gradually getting dirtier?
Yeah,
until
so
it's
like
underground?
Demolish and then build on top of it. Demolish.
Right.
But the mad thing with this is not that far underground because it's on the south bank where they didn't build a lot.
Yeah.
So this goes back to what we were saying. I was going to say this. So when you were talking about like they talk about ancient like civilizations that were lost, I think it comes because there are like technologies that are lost.
Yeah.
So like the Romans had this material that's like concrete. And over time, it gets stronger.
Oh, really?
because they've got this. Yeah, they've got. So MIT just did a study, like they released last month, and they found out like they basically worked out what the ingredients were.
Oh, really?
And there's an ingredient in it, and it means that they use volcanic materials and this other thing called lucite, I think it's called. And basically over time, it's like concrete, but it gets stronger over time.
Yeah.
And now they're saying that they might start using it in like modern construction because modern concrete degrades.
No way.
So they found this thing that's like 200 years old, and it's better than what we've got now potentially.
That's insane, that, isn't it?
But then you find stuff like that, and then you're like, oh, they probably, what else did they have?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the kind of idea of like lost civilizations comes
the whole
from.
Like everyone like again goes back to the pyramids in it, like, and they just don't really know how they done some of that. Like is it the king's chambers in there? And there's stuff where they're like, we don't even know how the fuck you'd even get that up there back then. So it's like, but obviously there was stuff happening that we've just lost.
Yeah,
because,
we don't know.
Like you say, people come in and just burn all this shit.
But if it's like arrogance as well to think like, oh, like if we can't do it, they couldn't have done it.
I hate that. People
do you know what I mean?
You can't learn stuff from like earlier civilizations and that.
But like we're not smarter than they are. We just have more like development.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us are very stupid.
but it also, but it feels like they would have had to have been smarter because they had so much more to work out.
Yeah.
Now we sort of just go, how'd you build it? Or just look it up and do it like that, whatever. And
so that's one of the main things that makes us different than animals. Is because like we can take the knowledge of like previous generations and just add to it. We don't have to work it all out again. Yeah. Whereas animals have to like work out everything from the beginning.
Yeah. I heard something on that about, do you know, like, is it what's it called? The Akashic Records?
Akashic
Records, which is meant to be like this shared knowledge that you can tap into. Do you know, like the whole animal instincts type thing? Like animals are born knowing how to do certain things. Yeah. There's something to do with rats, and like they showed one rat away through this maze, and then rats in the next generation got through the maze quicker. Like they knew instinctively how to do the maze.
Like cellular memory.
And it's like we don't have that. So we have to do it that way, like writing down all the knowledge and shit like that, because that's like you say, that's the one thing that really differs. Like we don't really have them types of instincts. We have to learn everything, don't we?
I think
we have some though. Like a lot of it comes from like evolution as well. So like if your ancestors lived somewhere where there was like loads of poisonous snakes, the ones who are scared of snakes will survive.
Right.
And then their kids, the ones who are like naturally scared of snakes, and then their kids are like more inclined to be scared of snakes. And then everyone's scared of snakes after a while.
My ancestor
I mean, that's not, I don't know. I don't think that's like an actual thing. I just made that up.
Yeah.
No, that's the idea of it.
I've heard that as well about like, that's why people are scared of like monsters under the beds and that.
Yeah.
Because back when we were living in caves and shit, there was that fear of like big cats coming in the night and shit.
And that's because the ones who weren't scared got eaten. Yeah. So they didn't have kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm so skittish. I'm gonna live to be 200.
You're just more evolved than we are.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely.
You're the next progression of like human.
Do you know much about like China?
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
It sounded like arrogant, that didn't it?
No,
I know all about China.
You know in a bit is more than I know, so it is.
I just did
a podcast series on China. I was on the Great Wall of China, but I used the Great Wall of China to do it about like Chinese history altogether. Do you know what I mean? So it goes through like all the dynasties and that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. We went to China, didn't we? Went to the Great Wall.
Yeah.
It's big, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you go to like the tourist bit?
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Because
I didn't go to that bit.
We didn't know how to navigate.
Yeah, we didn't know what to do.
So we was like, get the most obvious routes there. Do you know what I mean?
So I did, have you ever heard of Airbnb experiences?
Yeah, right.
You can book like tours and that.
Yeah.
So we booked it on that, and like some guy just came, like picked us up in a van and like took us to like this remote part of the wall. It's like still fully built up and like the proper wall. But it's like the actual like ruins of it, and there's no one else there. It's like some little village nearby.
That's cool.
So we basically just had it all to ourselves.
That's sick.
I feel like if we'd done that, I'd have been kidnapped and sold or something. To be honest.
People think you were Chinese.
Yeah, well, I am quarter Chinese.
Yeah. No, but they definitely thought you were white when we were in China.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In China,
they
think you were white.
Yeah, definitely.
My girlfriend Emily, she's quarter Chinese as well. But like they all thought she was Chinese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like everywhere we went. like they'd start cracking on in Chinese to her, and she'd have to be like,
Really?
and then they'd look at her like,
yeah.
Yeah, at least they knew I definitely didn't speak Chinese.
Yeah. No, they was asking me like how they can improve the roads, and I was like, don't drive. I don't know.
We were getting interviewed by like school kids and that.
Where did you go?
So we went to Guiyang, Chengdu, Xi'an, where the terracotta warriors are, and Beijing. And that's enough for me. Thanks. Never
we
again.
only went to Beijing.
Yeah.
But I liked it. But I think we had a very different, because they thought Emily was Chinese. I think we had a very different experience than a lot of people. Cause
we were doing it on a real tight budget as well, which made it even harder.
Yeah.
Like
we were in like a really nice hotel.
Yeah, that helps, like, doesn't it?
And we got mate, we were in this hotel. Yeah, it wasn't even that day, and then they upgraded us. They were like extra like £20 a night or something, and we'll upgrade you. And at first we were like, nah. And then they showed us what it was, and basically for extra £20, it was already quite cheap.
Yeah,
they put us in like a full suite. So we had like 3 rooms in the hotel.
We had such a different experience.
Like walk-in wardrobe.
That's sick.
Free food every day, free drinks as much as you can drink. And we were like, mate, we're paying about £50 or something.
We didn't get that. No. We didn't have any of that.
The height of our
very different experiences in China.
The height of luxury for us was a Holiday Inn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In China.
I wouldn't go to China on a budget.
Well, I wouldn't again.
I wouldn't go on.
I loved China. I thought it was amazing, but I would not go on a budget.
No, as I say, we had like such a horrible time.
Yeah.
Like I would like to visit Shanghai because that's where my granddad come from, but I'd have to have money. I'd have to have a translator. Like,
I think I know it's fun when you're like proper young to go just like backpacking and that, but certain point, like going to countries where you don't really know the infrastructure and all that, I think you want some money. Like, even if just in case.
Yeah, we was ignorant, weren't we? Like, we thought someone will speak English. Nobody.
Not when we arrived, no.
And you were even in like the main cities as well. So
we were in fucking
the place where we landed, because the reason we went there was because the flights were so cheap to get there. And I was like, it'll be sound. Like, someone will speak English at the airport at least. All the signs were in English. And I was like, see, it sounds flying. No one. Tourist information, no English at all. And we were like, we're fucked instantly. Like, it was mad.
Do you know why that is? Because you used to go into places that we conquered.
That's it. Ignorance. Like, we was like, we need to get home and learn Chinese.
It's mad. It's such a culture shock when you go somewhere that wasn't part of the British Empire.
It was.
Just like, shit, we didn't like change their whole culture.
But it wasn't even that. I was thinking like the whole place would be like that. I thought at least the airport had a tourist information where it said tourist information in English.
Because the problem was they didn't have currency exchange at the airport. That was our big problem to start off the thing. So I had to like find a police officer. And I was like, so tentative knocking on the police.
It's not fun, is it, in China?
No.
So not fun.
Remember, like, we, on our way back in the airport, we forgot to get our passport stamped.
Oh, yeah.
And they just, like, took us in a room, didn't tell us why, and just made us sit there for, like, 20 minutes. And I was like, mate, are we, like, getting sent off or something?
What's this?
Over there,
harvest our organs or what?
It's like, what's going on here? But it was like something dead simple, but it wasn't like a big deal, but because they didn't
make
speak
it
English
seem
and that.
Scary,
it was just like, yo, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's like communist, like, as well. You're like, oh.
What did you do any digs in that over in China, or was you just just go over?
They have all their own stuff going on in China. Basically, they have all their own archaeologists.
Right.
You can't really. It's hard to do Chinese archaeology because all the old writings in like Chinese.
So interesting though. Like, I was reading a book about traditional Chinese medicine, and they were saying like in the West they don't know much about it because they haven't translated many of the original, what they call like cornucopias and stuff like that. I don't know. Like all the herbal stuff and but I'm dead interested in it because like I went to one to treat my asthma, and I haven't used my inhalers since either, and I've had COVID. So I think there's something to it, and that's one of them things where people don't listen to it because it's ancient or whatever. But it's like, but they've done it for so many years.
I definitely think there's a lot in Chinese medicine that's legit.
Yeah, well, they've been around for so long as well. Like China's like one of the oldest.
The world.
I mean, a lot of it's like science. It's science as well. It's just like it comes from like natural stuff.
Yeah, and
there'll be something in it.
I think there's so much to that. Like, do you know, I think it's mad how just on the side of the road you can find like dandelion roots, and that's meant to be good for your heart and stuff. But
You know, like aspirin comes from like tree sap.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but if someone was like, you got a headache or some of this tree sap, they'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Well, I solve most of my headaches with water. Like, and that's
time,
like people's last resort. Like, you'd rather numb the pain and ignore the dehydration, and it just doesn't make sense to me. That.
It's like ginger in it. If you like got like an Asian family, like just give you ginger all the time.
Love
if you got a stomach ache, have ginger.
Yeah, garlic up the nose.
That's really good for your stomach.
So
I want to know more about archaeology. Tell me everything.
Everything.
Started
human history.
Yes, please.
Started 2.4 million years ago.
And go.
Yeah, I love China. I love reading about China though, because it's
just mad.
Because it's separate. Not separate, but it's like so different.
It's its own thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And then when you learn about when they first linked up with like the Silk Road and that, you know, like in ancient Rome, like all the silk was from China.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. It's mad when you think about that, and you think like all the pictures you see of like all the emperors and stuff, like all the stuff they're wearing is from China.
So even back then, everything was made in China.
Yeah, made in China.
Fucking hell, man. I wonder if they had it on the little tags. Still just made in China.
Locked it off 2,000 years ago.
No wonder
that's so insane. But yeah, just because there's like, as I say, I think it seems like such an advanced civilization anyway.
Yeah,
because it's so, like the dynasties and that just so old. Weren't they? Like,
they did everything before Europe. Like the oldest civilizations, like, you know, when you talk about like cities and that.
Yeah.
You're talking like Mesopotamia and like Iraq.
Yeah.
Syria, Turkey, and then China is the other one.
Yeah.
And like where Pakistan is now as well.
Yeah.
And then like everything else is like later. Because they just
it's mad, isn't it?
But we think like we still think like it's European.
Yeah, because we draw the maps as well, and we put us right in the middle, and we're like,
everyone does that though. You ever seen like a foreign map and like they've got their country in the middle?
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like this map's wrong.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? But so, do you know much about like Genghis Khan and all them?
Quite a lot.
Yeah, that fascinates me. That
Temujin.
Yeah.
It's OG name.
that whole thing's just insane for how much he done.
How many?
Just on his own.
Do you know the figures of like how many people are related to him? Because he like.
I mean, they say like almost everyone.
Almost everyone
in Asia.
Yeah,
in Asia.
So like
95%.
Dean might not be, but we probably both are.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dean might be because you might have Asian ancestry somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. His eyes are a bit out
But
there.
the thing is though, like sometimes it does. It's not as crazy as you think, though, because like the further back you go, the more, the more like common ancestors we have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you done one of them tests?
No, I've not. I want to.
I want to do one as well. Have to do one.
But like, so like we've all, like you'd be surprised how close back the three of us have like a common ancestor. Like wouldn't be that.
Yeah,
far
it wouldn't
back.
take that far to get.
It wouldn't be that long at all.
That's crazy.
We're just all brothers and sisters, guys.
Yeah. There's a thing they call
racism's proper stupid.
It's
isn't
so
it?
yeah.
I think they call it like genetic Eve.
Right.
And it's like she's like the last common ancestor of everyone.
Mad.
And it's only like a few thousand years. It's not that long ago.
That's so insane.
It's beautiful though, that, isn't it?
Yeah. We are all like related.
Very incestuous.
Yeah, it's kind of weird as well.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
But you're all like
what was the thing of like didn't at one point the Mongols and that kill like fucking 80% of the whole population of the world or something?
Off the top of my head, I think it's like 60 million people.
Yeah, and there was only about 100 million people about, wasn't there?
Yeah, like there's not as much people.
Yeah.
I think like the Roman Empire, which was like a lot earlier, well, just to give you an idea, like the whole Roman Empire was like probably like 60 million.
Yeah.
It's mad how they'd like train hawks and stuff to help them hunt or whatever.
Eagles.
And people can't fucking get the dogs to sit now.
They use eagles. Still do it, like Mongolian people.
Yeah.
Like hunt foxes and wolves with eagles.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they used to like use the horses differently as well, didn't they? They sleep on the horses and stuff like that.
And like
so that was why no one could fuck with them, because they were like a mobile army. They were all on horses.
Yeah.
So like the Great Wall of China, they just rode around it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like literally.
They just built this fucking big wall and they went whatever.
Because normally, like, if they all go to this one point to go around it, you can move all your soldiers, but they couldn't because they were all on horses. They were too fast.
Yeah.
So they just rolled around it.
Insane, innit?
Yeah, weren't they bow-legged as well because they were on horses?
Probably. Once surprised.
Yeah, because I listened to, do you know Dan Carlin?
Yeah.
That's why
he's really good.
I've listened to his one on the Mongols. Well, half of it because it's fucking dead long.
I always fall asleep.
Yeah,
no offense.
It's like 4 hours.
But even just the little bits you hear on that about like how ruthless, like even the women in the settlements were. So like people would roll in thinking they were just going to take this settlement over because all the fellas were off and the women would go, nah, we're harder than the fellas.
Yeah,
like,
you're dead.
And I think was it the same with Vikings as well? Like the women in them were like fucking just
they
as
had like female warriors.
Yeah.
The Vikings were mad though because all the Saxon women wanted to like sleep with them because they used to have a bath once a week. Yeah, that's it. It's like we know that. So like there's like writing where it's like, oh, like it's like a Saxon man writing and he's like complaining like, oh, all our women want to like sleep with the Vikings because they like have a bath once a week and like brush their
So that's like that. So they were cleaner.
Yeah, the Vikings are like
so
cleaner.
mad. Like, why just have a bath, bro? Like,
just have a bath.
Why don't you just have a bath?
I like how they were blagging it was because he'd had a bath and not because he was a fucking hunk of a man.
Giant Scandinavian fella, like.
Oh, he's so clean.
Yeah, because he had a bath.
Yeah. If I had a bathroom, all the women would be sleeping with me.
Yeah, it's so stupid. That classic Saxon man.
Yeah. I love like all the Vikings and stuff like that. Like I've been playing it.
That's what my tattoo is.
Yeah. I've been playing the new Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
just getting so involved
so
and
good.
that's sick.
Learn a lot of history through it as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they do stick to it quite well, don't they? Like
immersive in it.
Yeah.
And all the settlements and all that. Like real places. And
the buildings are like all proper.
Yeah, and I look at it as well, like the buildings, and be like, is that how
Make
it was?
sure that's right.
And like a lot of them, the like the Roman stuff, like they do the right like construction patterns and stuff like that.
That's what I thought with that Ghost of Tsushima. There's Mongols on that.
Yeah.
And like the tents and stuff that they all build up is like so spot on to what they say it was actually like. Just so sick how they like how much like attention to detail there is and stuff.
When I got Assassin's Creed, I was just like walking around, just looking at stuff. Like, is that right?
Well, they made that thing on the Odyssey one, where it's like museum style stuff.
Yeah,
so
they're
you
doing
could
it
go
on
and
this one
see,
as well.
Like the Pantheon and all stuff like that, couldn't you? And actually like see how it was, and it was all like educate for educational purposes,
like a guided tour.
Yeah, man, it's sick.
Yeah. It's good, that, 'cause, like, imagine how you could do it in schools and that, couldn't you? Like, it's so much better than just being like, oh, like, look at this.
Oh, kids would love that.
Yeah.
Like,
let them do it themselves, like, go through it and that.
So when I'm playing my games, I'm actually learning.
Actually learning.
So you know.
Yeah. Traveling.
But no, it's sick, that one. But like the whole like going back to like psychedelics and all that, obviously they all used mushrooms and stuff. Is there anything about like why their religion with all the Norse gods and stuff, is there any of that come from psychedelics or anything?
We don't have, the problem with the Vikings is like we don't have writing from them.
Right.
The only writing that we have of the Vikings is like a few hundred years later, like the Icelandic sagas.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what they were thinking. Like the writing that we have about the Vikings is from the Saxons.
Right, okay.
And like obviously like they're fucking the Saxons up. So like they're writing. Yeah. First of all, they're gonna be like, that's why a lot of the Viking stuff is like they're massive and they're like they're so sick because they've just fucked them up and they're writing about it. So obviously it's like if you have a fight, you don't go to your mates and be like, yeah, some like little guy and like just like you'd be like, he was fucking massive and like he was about like 10 men
10 foot tall,
he knew like kung fu and that. So like that's what we have. So what we have with the Vikings is like people who they fucked up. So they're obviously like they were massive and like they were like the best warriors.
The women were bigger than
the women were the women were sick. Like they were the best warriors we've ever seen in your life.
That's what Ross from Friends says when Phoebe beats him up when she's younger. And it's like, it wasn't a girl, it was lots of men.
Yeah, it was a big man.
That's basically like the Anglo-Saxon Chronicles.
That's so funny. Wow.
So because they had like, I don't even know if this is true or just based on like shite I've seen on films and that, but like oracles and that. I reckon all them were like, they take mushrooms and then
they did. Have you heard of the shield biters?
No.
So there's like an ancient like chess set.
Right.
And it's basically like Viking warrior. I think it's Viking warriors, and there's like the pieces at the front. They're like biting their shields.
Yeah.
I reckon that the shield biters, they would like do drugs like before a battle.
Right.
Yeah.
They were so fucked off their heads, so they were so like on it, like this like biting the shields before they like started.
What was it you listened to? Was it Paul Stamens? I think he was talking about the berserkers.
Yeah.
They apparently took loads of mushrooms.
Yeah. So it would be like,
and then he'd just like take all the clothes off and just go fucking mad. And people were like, these are crazy people, but they were all just like drug induced.
Yeah.
We
Loads
did
of people
mushrooms
did
the other day and took our clothes off.
Yeah.
Because we just got too hot. I don't know
kill,
what it was.
Kill someone with an axe.
No.
No, but I was walking around the house feeling like I was a giant though.
I accidentally like slobbered on his pillow and I was like, a bit of dream lubricant for you.
But there was one point where I was like, I feel too big for this house. Like I felt massive.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was
like,
strange.
It just changes your perception. It's really weird.
Too big for the house.
But yeah, that was what they were saying. Like the berserkers were like they were fucked on mushrooms.
There's
and
loads of like
the Nazis and that apparently they used to use like amphetamines and that one. Eh?
The Zulus used to take drugs before battle as well.
Yeah.
Loads. I think it's a common
Seems like
thing.
it'd help, wouldn't it?
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Go on a mad one.
And like the kamikaze pilots and that, didn't they?
Yeah.
On some sort of
amphetamines
they
were,
or
I
something
don't know
again.
what they were on, yeah. You'd have to be to like convince you to do that, innit?
Yeah.
Go and fly a plane into something.
Do you know much about Japanese? I know we've gone through all sorts of cultures here, but
I want more.
Just trying to,
I don't know that much about Japanese.
No.
More, I like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I love samurai. I've read Miyoto Musashi.
Yeah, man, the 5 Rings.
Yeah. Good book, that.
Yeah.
That's mad as well when you read it and you like, he wrote
it in a cave, didn't he? Like just before he died.
You're reading what you wrote, like, it's weird.
But do you know what was weird reading it? Say reading. Listen to it. Do you know when he's describing like the samurais and how they have like a certain facial posture and all stuff like that? When you look at all the old like woodblock prints, they all pulling them faces.
Yeah.
They're, like with the jaws like frowning and I was like, oh shit, that's why they're all depicted like that. Is because that was the way the fucking samurais were meant to like hold themselves. It was mad. Like
it is mad.
Just hearing about it and seeing like how well it was.
I know a bit about Korea. Have you seen that Korean show, Kingdom?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
Is it? Yeah.
Watch it. Yeah, it's like ancient Korea.
Oh, sick.
And it's a bit of a spoiler for the first episode, but it's like zombies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And they're like in ancient Korea, and
That's
they're like
mad.
zombies. But it's like a good show as well. It's not just like Netflix.
Oh, sick.
It's not just like cheesy like zombie.
Yeah.
It's like well made like drama show, like high production and that.
Right.
But it's so good though, because it's like zombies. But it's like these Korean like sick guys with like samurai swords and that, just like taking their heads off.
Yeah, because you never think like of zombies happening just in a different time.
It's so much better though, because they've got like big swords and like,
easier
and all that stuff.
What is it? Subtitles?
Yeah.
That's I need that. Like it's so much better authentic with subtitles.
Yeah, I can't watch dubbed.
Yeah, no.
It seems dead weird, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Doesn't make sense.
It ruins the mood as well because they never get it right.
Yeah. No, I do. I like it. I listened to a Dan Carlin about the Celts like going over to Rome. Do you know? Was that a thing?
Probably.
Well, he said it was a thing.
Probably.
But they're saying that they like invaded Rome.
Oh, the Goths. Are you thinking of the Goths?
The Goths?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the Goths are who like sacked Rome at the end. That's who like ended Rome. The Goths.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not like Marilyn Manson, but
that'd be funny. Yeah. In the Vatican, just like, no, you're not allowed in. We're here to take over.
Yeah, love it. Just a big mosh pit in Rome. Just
outside the Vatican.
That's how they invade.
Have you been to Rome and that?
No.
We've been, man. It's
good.
Yeah, it's insane because like
beautiful.
you'd be walking just like round sort of where people are living and that, and then you turn a corner and it'll just be like
the Pantheon
and that. And like fucking hell, like it's insane.
And the pigeons are all really fat because of all the pastry and ice cream.
And Roman pigeons.
Yeah. But no, it's just mad. Like just thinking about it all. Like when you're there, and you're like, this was like one of the biggest empires going, and just like all the stuff that's happened in the streets around where you're walking and stuff. It's hard to think about.
Yeah, it's mad that you know,
because you're just walking around like, oh, there's a gelato shop there.
Yeah.
And then, but there's probably people getting fucking murdered and that everywhere, and maybe not murdered, but like.
Imagine I uncovered a floor, like someone's floor, like from 2,000 years ago the other week.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm first person to stand on this floor for like 2,000 years.
That's why it's a good job that's so interesting.
It's just been under the ground, like.
Yeah, just waiting.
And you go through the layers. As you dig through as well, you go through the layers. So like I go like Victorian.
Like a gobstopper.
Like this is all in the same.
Yeah, it's not a gobstopper.
So this is all in the same spot. So like I went down to like Victorian 1800s.
Yeah.
Found like a rag and bone man's basement.
Oh
or
my
like the
God.
iron and stuff in there, like that he'd left in there after probably died or whatever.
And isn't it mad the way you found that, and you're probably like, this is the best thing I'm going to find here. And then you keep going.
Went down a bit more, and it was like 1600s. So like when the plague and like this English Civil War and all that was going on, just found like a wall and like some like pots and stuff from then. And then just went down a bit more, and it went straight down into Roman, so like 2000, and that's all just like on top of each other like that.
It's mad that they just go, well, I'll just build over all this.
Yeah.
And then the next people are just like, I'll just build on top of that.
And that bit as well, because it was on the South Bank where they didn't build that much.
Yeah.
Like you had like the 1600s there, and then literally like about like half a meter lower, so like about that much is the Roman stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's how close it is.
That's mad.
And we're only like from here to like the ceiling, like below the ground, and we're on Romans. So like when you were walking around anywhere really, like there'll be stuff you are walking over like old like 1,000-year-old houses and all kinds of stuff like that.
Insane, isn't it? They just fucking fill it in and build up over it now.
Have you got any like artifacts yourself?
Yeah.
That you've.
But for the purpose of a comedy podcast,
yeah. Not from this site, obviously. Like I might take, but stuff that I was like allowed to take and that. Yeah. I've got like Roman pots. I've got like flint, like worked flint from like the Iron Age in Sussex.
How do they determine like what they keep and what you can just have because you found like?
You can't really have anything, but these are from like digs where we were like doing like university stuff and that, and it was stuff. Basically, it was all stuff that like wasn't in a context.
Right.
So like for us, archaeologically, unless it's something like really amazing, if we don't know where it came from, then we can't really use it because it could be from any time or anything like that. So it's stuff that we couldn't really like use. Like,
what's the oldest thing that you've got?
2 million old axe.
Oh yeah.
It's been old that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, 2 million years old.
The next thing after that is probably about 8,000 years old, a bit of Mesopotamian pot.
Yeah. That's mad.
Wow.
There was Mesopotamia when the land was before it all broke up.
So Mesopotamia is Greek for the land between two rivers.
Right.
So it's the Tigris and the Euphrates that go through Iraq.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the first like cities were basically.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like the Fertile Crescent, they call it. It's there's like a golden triangle of where the conditions were good for like farming and stuff. Where that's where Göbekli Tepe is in there.
Right. Okay.
That's where the first like farming and stuff comes from, basically.
Where a lot of like civilization would have started off.
So basically, once they start farming instead of hunting and gathering, then you have like extra food, and then people can specialize in other jobs.
Yeah.
And then that's when you get
and then you get like blacksmiths and politicians and religious people, because not everyone has to get food.
Yeah.
Where's Babylonia?
Mesopotamia.
Is it? Yeah.
Is there any follow-up question to that?
Babylon.
No, I was just wondering. But I think we've done an hour, haven't we?
Yeah, we've done an hour, So we do a little Patreon special as well where Amy gives you a tarot reading. So we're going to do that in a minute.
But in future, I would love, when we've got more patrons and more funds, love to get some metal detectors and go out and we'll have a little, see what we can find.
Be sick.
Bring you along. It'll be like,
just gotta get a
imagine we went, you're not coming now. We're just going to go on our own.
No, we need you to tell us what we found.
I found something, but no, put that back.
But that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Sign up to Patreon. Make our dreams come true.
Yeah, help us go on an archaeological dig.
A treasure hunt.
So are you still doing a podcast?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Excavate.
Yeah.
So it's like basically they're like audio documentaries basically.
Yeah.
It's like a series. Each one's like a series of like 3 or 4 episodes.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
And it's so I've done like the Black Death, did China.
Yeah.
I did the Viking Age, Islamic Golden Age.
Yeah.
More.
Oh, sick, man.
I'm going to start doing ones. I've not said this yet. Exclusive.
Oh.
I'm going to start doing ones basically where I invite someone on.
Yeah.
You guys want to come on as well?
Yeah,
like,
man, definitely.
Love to have you on. Basically, like the guest just picks a piece of history that they're interested in.
Oh, sick.
And then I'll
I'm doing
tell
Japan.
them about it.
Yeah,
whatever.
get reading up on Japan.
Also, it could be a person, like a place, a time.
Yeah, that's
like
cool,
whatever.
man.
And then we just chat
Sick.
about it.
So what's it called? Excavate?
Excavate.
Is that just on audio?
Everything,
is it?
yeah. Everything you
cool.
need.
And then what's your social medias?
KHALID Winter. I'm the only one, so easy to find.
No numbers or nothing like that.
Although if you
Right.
Google it, you get the song Winter by KHALID now, which is annoying. It used to be
That's
just
officially your
exclusively.
song.
Yeah. Your little theme tune, that now.
It's all right. It's not bad. Could
That's
be
a cool
worse. Could be
name,
worse.
Yeah. It's right. So yeah, go check out KHALID's podcast and go follow him on Twitter and anything else that you're on. You're on Instagram or anything like that?
Insta, yeah. I use Insta more.
Yeah, go follow him on Instagram then, is right.
Amazing. Thanks so much for coming on.
And
thanks for having me.
keep an eye
It's
out for
good
the
fun.
Easter egg and also sign up to the Patreon because you're going to get loads of stuff soon.
Yes,
And
please.
it's a nice one for coming on, man.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next week.
And
Take it
thanks,
easy.
Finn.
Thanks, Finn. Bye.
Bye.